What's up guys, this is Ronnie. Welcome back to our channel Total Technology. This is tutorial 7 and today we'll be going to talk about interface on GraphQL or Graphene. So before I proceed, let me just increase the brightness a bit because it is kind of a dull. Okay, so guys, in the last tutorial we have seen how to use metaclass, how to create description, how to use alternate name for your schema type, all those like theoretical concept on GraphQL. So this tutorial also will be going to talk about one of the very important aspects of GraphQL or Graphene schema, that is interface and how to use interface. So if you are already familiar with object oriented programming concept, then probably it will be easier for you to understand, but if you are not familiar, then probably you should pay a bit more attention. Hopefully this will help you actually to understand, because I'll be going to discuss, explain, and after that I will try to correlate everything from the source code very slowly, so that will definitely help you. Okay, so before I proceed, so what actually I'm gonna do, I'll tell you. So first I will explain what is interface, how to use interface, and for that actually I'll be going to use the documentation or the definition from the Graphene official documentation, and after that I'll try to explain that statements, and after that I'll try to correlate everything from the source code point of view. Okay, so let me go ahead with the next slide. So that is slide number 2. I believe my screen is still visible. Okay, so if you see interface in Graphene, so let me just read out the statement first, then we'll explain. Okay, so an interface is an abstract type that defines a certain set of fields that a type must include to implement the interface. So nothing understandable. Okay, if you are already familiar with ops concept, then probably it will be really easy for you because nothing different here. Okay, so for example, let's now go to the example. Just forget about the first line. For example, you can define an interface player that represent any player from the different sports like football or cricket. So let me tell you what I'm actually trying to say. Suppose you have created an interface. Now forget about what is interface. So just think about, you have created an interface player, and from that interface you can create multiple different player like football player or cricket player by extending or by implementing that player interface. So from player interface you can create football player or cricket player. Okay, so any object type that implements player will have the exact fields with these arguments and return types. So what is it is saying, suppose you have created an interface player, and from there you have created football player and cricket player. So whatever field and return type the player is having, the same thing will also available in the football player and the cricket player, because it is actually coming from that interface. So for example, here some of the types that is that might implement player, both of these types have already or have all the fields from the player interface. Okay, and but also bring in extra fields like position or batting order that are specific to that particular types of sports player. For example, it is saying that you will get all the common field types from the root interface or the actual interface player, and also you will have some sports specific types inside your actual interface. For example, football player will have a special field called position. For example, a football player can play at right wing, maybe center forward, center back, midfielder, whatever. And same thing, a cricket player also having a special field called batting order. So he can do open, he can bat or number 2, number 3, or till number 10 or till number 11 position. So that is going to be similar. Okay, so without wasting much time, I think I have already kind of messed up your brain and mind with this all sort of theoretical thing. So hopefully let me try to do something with the coding part now. Okay, so for that actually I have already opened my Visual Studio Code over here. So, just give me a moment. I think my mouse is not working properly. Okay, so somehow it's working now, but let me create a call, something called main.py. So in this tutorial I'm not going to use the different modular concept of Python. Okay, so I'm using this thing. Okay, so let me just make it a bit bigger. Okay, let me close all this thing. Okay, now let me start writing the code. First maybe I can write from, no, first let me import the Graphene, import Graphene. Okay, then I'll import fastapi. From fastapi import fastapi, then I will import starlet. Okay, so it should be from starlet dot grphql import GraphQL app. Okay, so I believe all my necessary like packages or sorry, all modules are already imported. So now we'll try to write the actual coding. Okay, so before I do that, so let me just read everything. Okay, so we'll be going to create a interface called player, and from there we'll try to implement two different Graphene object type that is called football player and cricket player. Okay, so let's start doing that. Okay, so and while doing this thing, we'll understand and we'll learn how to create interface. So first of all, class is going to be this, and after that maybe I can write class player. Okay, so the type of this thing will be interface, so it should be Graphene dot interface. Okay, and it will probably going to have a value called field is going to be name, and maybe I can write name and country. So every player is going to be represent a country and player also having a name, so it should be Graphene dot string. Okay, and maybe I can write the same thing over here. Okay, so my main interface is done. Okay, so now I'll try to implement two object type or two schema type called football player and cricket player. So one thing we learned from here, how to create your interface. You have to use the same thing, class and other things, but here you have to use graphene.interface to tell your program or that this is an interface, and in the future or later in the program we are going to implement that. Okay, so next thing is going to be class, let's say football player. Okay, so this is going to be Graphene dot object type. Okay, now I have to tell this thing that this is going to be like a type of interface and which is going to implement this one. So for that we have to use again the meta class. Okay, class meta like this, and here you have to use interfaces. Okay, and this is going to be name of this player. Okay, and after that a comma, so this is kind of a tuple. Okay, and now we'll write, and this is going to have a field type call position, and this is going to be Graphene dot int. Okay, that's it. So now let me just do a copy. So maybe so it is going to be cricket player, maybe. Okay, meta player, so maybe I can write batting order. Okay, batting order is going to be also a number, so that is why it is integer. So I have implemented two new object type by using this interface, or maybe I can say in a different way, I implemented this two interface, and resulting like object type is football player and cricket player. Okay, So now let me create my schema type here by writing class query. Okay, so this is going to be graphene dot object type. Okay, then maybe I can write a player. Okay, and this is going to be graphene, and this object type will be mounted using field. Okay, and this is a type of this thing, football player. So let me copy this thing. Okay, and probably I can write def resolve. Okay, self intro. Okay, so this is, sorry, not intro, this is going to be info. Sorry guys. So like this, and I'll do some sort of return statement here. Okay, and there will be one more thing in my thing. So this is going to be a player, or if I use resolve this another field type called C player, means cricket player. So this is also going to be same thing. Maybe can write something like that here. Okay, so graphene dot, this is going to be cricket player. So maybe I can write CRICKET, cricket player. So resolve maybe okay. So now just let me think how to put this return thing over here. Okay, so as you said, so return is going to be like if you see here, my schema will contain definitely this two thing and this two thing. So I need to do something like name. Okay, maybe return. So maybe I can write name, maybe I can just write my name here, or maybe I can write like something like C player, or maybe I can write player 2. Okay, then country is maybe I can write, just because this is cricket, so I will write India, and the batting order is going to be, let's say this is for cricket, so there will be batting order for sure. Okay, like this, and this is going to be 1. So this is for this thing, and for same thing I will use here. So let me just like, so this is going to be player 1. Maybe I can write Spain, and maybe I can write the position actually. So this is for football, so position maybe sorry, I did a mistake. For football, position is going to be string actually. So this is going to be string, so position is going to be, let's say CB, means central back. Okay, so that's it. So I believe we created everything whatever is required, and now let me try to create app. Is going to be first API. Okay, and after that I'll put something like that, app dot add underscore route, and this is going to be slash GraphQL. and after that maybe I can write something I don't know. So this is going to be GraphQL app equals to schema, okay, and this is going to be graphene dot schema, okay, and here it is going to be query is going to be this query, okay. So now let me write this print statement so that I can get this value, okay, right? Okay, so I believe I haven't done any mistake, so everything is okay. So I'll put this thing here, and after that I will try to explain the thing from the GraphqL, okay. So kind of a playground, okay. So this is going to be uvicon, then main, then app, then reload, okay. So hopefully I'll not get any error. Yeah, so this is done. So if you see here, I have a type of query, okay. Means my schema type is query, and I have two field, F player and C player, and F player is actually mounted as football player, and this is C player is mounted cricket player, and this player is a main interface, and football player is implements this player. If you see here, this is quite nicely showing everything over here, and this cricket player also implements this player, okay. And the schema object name is kind of a query, okay. So let's execute our thing from here. So localhost, okay, then GraphQL, okay. So let me remove everything, and after that if you put something like that, and after that maybe I can write F player, okay. So see, so name and country is coming by default, and position is coming for football player. So C player Spain central back coming, and the good thing is that maybe I can C player, if I put this thing, see, I got both thing together, right? And now if you, let's say I need the position for football player, and I need the country, batting order and name for C player, you will get those values only, right? So this is quite interesting, quite impressive, and really nice. So what is the benefit of using this thing? Now let me explain. So suppose I have only implemented these two values in the main player, use this or add this thing over here, but if you don't use interface, then what will happen? I have to, maybe I don't have to write this thing, but I have to write two things here, and I have to write these two things over here, and after that means that line will be double, actually 2 times, okay. But here actually I'm using only here, and after that I can extend. So now if I use some tennis player, volleyball player, basketball player, every time this is going to be implemented by using this interface, and I don't have to use these two root field type. This is not a root field type, but just for sake of understanding I am just saying like this, okay. So let me just run this thing one more time. So suppose I need name here, maybe I can write what else I have, name, position, say, let's say I need country, I will get everything. Now for the documentation, if you click on documentation, the name is query, and I have these two fields, flip player and C player, and it is like this. And for example, this is your main query. You can create a meta, just like last tutorial I believe we have seen this thing, like okay. So just forget about that, maybe I can write something. I think we have used this thing, description, okay. So maybe I can write football player coming from football player interface. Maybe I can write something like this. Okay, and maybe copy okay. Okay, so let's see, first do this thing now. Okay, so let me check whether it is getting some description over here or not. No, so that is obvious. So let me refresh this thing maybe, and after that just click type. So see, if I click on football player, if you don't have to click, you will get this description here, but for my query I didn't get anything. So maybe that is also obviously possible. So you can write class, then meta, then maybe this implements field type from interface. Okay, so it started. If you see here, okay, so no error. So let me refresh this thing again. So it's query, if you see here, and if you say implements, I did a mistake spelling, just fix it. Implements, implements. Now I can use an alternate name. So maybe I can write like interface query. So see, it got changed with interface player. Okay, so this is interface, okay, player, and my query got changed, is called interface query type. Now my query type is my schema is interface query type. Okay, and if you go here and refresh this thing, earlier it was query, now it will come as interface query. See, earlier it was in query, now it is interface query. Okay, so quite nice, interesting thing we did here. We understood in the last tutorial how to use metaclass. If you see here, now uses of metaclass. So this is another use of metaclass, like while implementing your like object type from interface. Okay, so in the last tutorial we have seen how to use metaclass. In this tutorial also we have seen some extended uses or advanced uses of metaclass. So as I told you guys, right now we are actually dealing with some intermediate topics, and as I told you, these things are going to be very very closely or maybe let me just represent a different role. So this piece like this metaclass, interface, and description, these things are going to play a very key role in your future development projects. The reason I already told you, because metaclass is kind of directly linked with your project documentation, and documentation is going to be very important, and this interface is also closely related to this metaclass, and interface is one of the biggest like design concept for your modular approach or maybe object oriented programming concept. Okay, so you are or you will definitely going to need this thing in your like future project or whatever you are going to do with the GraphQL. So that is why I try to like keep a bit of attention, try to invest some time and effort, and after that try to create some use case by your own, and after that try to tackle those use case by applying your own logic. And if you are able to do that, definitely you will become a better programmer. Okay, but if you're not able to do that, no problem, nothing to worry, just put some more time and more effort. So with the time actually you will master and expert or become expert on this technology. So I'll try to highlight two simple things. watch my video, and after that do your own practice and try to do some sort of like own research by doing the documentation, reading the documentation, going through the documentation, and also watch some blogs on GraphQL and Graphene. Okay, so enough of talking, guys. So as I told you, I also need some sort of feedback whether this series is actually making any sense for your GraphQL journey, or you think I'm going very slow or I'm going very fast, or if you think that I should include something else, or my my course should contain something else, please feel free to update me. I'll try to incorporate all these changes, because ultimately I'm doing this course for all of you. So if you guys are getting benefited, then my purpose will be solved. Okay, so that's it, guys. We'll see you in the next video very soon with another piece of interesting GraphQL Graphene aspect. So hopefully that will be done tomorrow. Okay, so that's it, guys. We'll see you in the next video very soon. Till then, take care, goodbye, and have a nice day and have a nice weekend.